You may have heard the slogan, Ude Desh ka Aam Nagrik. That's the promise behind the UDAN scheme, India's ambitious attempt to make air travel affordable and connect smaller cities with the rest of the country. But nearly 7 years later, we have ghost airports, failed airlines, and routes that barely lasted a few months. So, what happened? In today's video, we break down the UDAN scheme, what it aimed to do, what it actually delivered, the successes, the failures, and where it stands today. Stay till the end because we'll also share a possible way forward and whether this scheme needs a reboot or a total rethink. What is UDAN? UDAN, short for Ude Desh ka Aam Nagrik, was launched in 2017 under the Regional Connectivity Scheme by the Ministry of Civil Aviation in India. The idea was simple: make flying affordable for the common Indian, connect underserved and unserved airports across Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, boost tourism, trade, and regional development. Here's how it was supposed to work. Airlines would bid for routes under a viability gap funding model. Airfare for a certain number of seats would be capped at 2,500 rupees per hour of flight. The government would subsidize the loss airlines face due to low fares, and state governments would chip in by reducing VAT on fuel, waiving airport charges, and providing security and fire services for free. What it achieved? Let's give credit where it's due. Over 450 routes have been awarded under UDAN till now. Around 75 to 80 airports, heliports, and water aerodromes have seen operations under the scheme. Cities like Jharsuguda, Kurnool, Darbhanga, and Hubli got regular commercial flights for the first time. The scheme also revived some lost airstrips, including ones built during British times. For passengers, especially from remote towns, it offered a faster and sometimes cheaper alternative to trains or buses. Even for tourism and business, it helped generate interest in new destinations. For example, Diu and Porbandar saw a spike in tourism after air connectivity began. In theory, UDAN had noble intentions and a great start. But here's the harsh truth. Many UDAN routes failed within months. Let's break down why. Airline failures. Many small operators like Zoom Air, TrueJet, Air Deccan either shut down or suspended UDAN routes. The business model simply wasn't viable for them. Many routes were unviable because demand was overestimated. Even with capped fares and subsidies, airlines couldn't fill enough seats to break even. A lot of airports lacked night landing facilities, instrument landing systems, proper ATC, or even basic ground handling support. This limited operations to only daytime VFR conditions, killing flexibility. Subsidy payments from the government were often delayed, making cash flows difficult for struggling airlines. Most routes were awarded for just 3 years with no clear roadmap beyond that. Once subsidies ended, routes were discontinued. In 2023, the Civil Aviation Ministry admitted in Parliament that less than 50% of UDAN routes are operational today. The bigger issue is mismatch between policy intent and ground execution. The UDAN scheme treated every city as equally ready, but in reality, regional aviation needs long-term ecosystem planning, not just short-term subsidies. There's also a lack of airline capacity dedicated to regional routes. With most players focusing on profitable metro-to-metro routes, there's little incentive to serve low-yield Tier 3 cities unless forced. Air India and Indigo dominate the market, but neither has committed seriously to UDAN routes beyond a few token flights. So, is UDAN a failure? Not completely. It highlighted the need for regional air connectivity and kickstarted important conversations, but it needs serious reform. Here's what could help. Longer-term route planning for a minimum of 5 to 7 years, modern smaller aircraft fleets, a dedicated regional airline support system, a performance-based subsidy system, and better ground infrastructure investment from state governments. Most importantly, the government needs to treat aviation as a utility in remote regions and not just a business. UDAN 5.0 was launched recently with revised norms, but we are yet to see major progress. If you would like us to make a video on what has changed under UDAN 5.0, drop a comment below. So what do you think? Is UDAN still worth saving, or should India explore new models for regional air connectivity? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you live in a city that benefited or lost flights due to UDAN, we'd love to hear your experience. Like, share and subscribe for more deep dives into Indian aviation, and check out our previous video on why regional airlines in India are failing. Until next time, fly safe and keep watching Aviation-o-holic. See you in the next one.